And for our last story, let's shift focus to the East Africa, where it seems Kenya is preparing for a war, not against terrorists or any enemy state, but against memes and social media posts that express dissent against the William Ruto government. Kenya is planning to tighten control of social media. The government is forming a strategy to combat what it calls digital abuse. It has ordered social media platforms operating in the country to actively monitor and take action against violent, hateful and unbalanced content. The Interior Ministry says Kenyans are using social media irresponsibly and are disregarding the limits of free speech. The ministry earlier also tweeted that all of the social media platforms operating in the country would be required to set up local offices. However, that post was later removed. Currently, Google and Microsoft are the only tech giants with local offices in Kenya. Meanwhile, Kenya's Foreign and Diaspora Ministry has shared concerns that Kenya's online are misinforming the world about the activities of the Kenyan government. The ministry blamed some social media influencers are bent on discrediting the government internationally. So it seems social media influencers are the Kenyan government's new enemies. However, these influencers have been facing government's crackdown for a while now. Months ago, social media gave birth to the Kenyan government's biggest challenge in recent times. Kenya's Gen Z rallied against the tax hikes that President Ruto proposed last year. The youth not just mobilized the rallies on social media, but also live-streamed them. These anti-tax protests slowly turned into a wider campaign against President Ruto. Kenyans demanded Ruto's resignation. They were met with heavy police crackdown. Over 70 people were reportedly killed. Hundreds were detained, while many were abducted. In Kenya, several government critics have been abducted since last year's protests, and protesters and human rights groups accuse the Ruto government of the crackdown. While protests may have been clamped down from the Kenyan streets, they have shifted online amid the crackdown. Many Kenyans are taking to social media to express frustration with the government. Some are calling Ruto Zakayo, a term inspired by a biblical tax collector, and some are calling him to resign using the hashtag Ruto must go. Then some say that Kenya under Ruto has become part of Abductistan, and the country is in fact a headquarter of abductions. Memes have in fact become a popular tool in Kenya to counter state policies. While authorities crack down with guns, tear gas and canisters, satire and humour have become weapons for young Kenyans. And it turns out the weapon has been effective and has forced the government to press the panic button.
From breaking news to the day's biggest controversies, shedding light on the world's top headlines, detailed analysis on the stories that matter the most to you. Catch it all on Spotlight at 6 p.m. India time and 12:30 GMT, only on Firstpost.